Our company is rooted in social, environmental, and responsibility from the start. We're a certified B Corporation, and we're 1% for the Planet members, meaning we give 1% of our revenues to nonprofit organizations. In fact, we have partnered with 5 Gyres, with Anna and Marcus. We give them sunscreen for their expeditions in non-plastic containers, actually. So it's all very cool and very relevant, but what this relates to is that a few years ago, I was invited to attend the International Coral Reef Symposium in Honolulu, Hawaii, where I listened to 4 years of data downloaded from toxicologists on the impacts that chemical sunscreens have on coral reefs. So it was pretty mind-blowing. Everything before then for us was a little bit business as usual, and I had a bit of an agnostic kind of relationship with sunscreens and what people used. But after that symposium, I walked out of there and I realized that we can no longer be quiet. We actually have to amplify our message much louder and much bigger than we are as a company. So from that, we started a reef-friendly campaign and taught people through education and nonprofit partnerships and working with athletes and educators and children that chemicals like oxybenzone, octocrylene, avobenzone, octinoxate, octosalate, the common ingredients in sunscreens are actually causing DNA mutation, endocrine disruption, bleaching, and ultimately death in corals. And corals are animals, if you're familiar with that, and humans are animals too. So it's not just the coral that are affected by sunscreens. At first I felt skeptical and thought, well, I mean, you know, you can get really negative on it, right? And think about climate change and all the impacts of climate change on coral reefs, but the truth is that there are places where they don't have the impact of non-point source pollution, so like agricultural runoff and sewage. And then the third, you got it, gringos drenched in thousands of pounds of chemical sunscreens. And where those 3 things don't exist, the coral are actually fighting against climate change. They're still reproducing and they're still growing. And they can handle things like acid rain and ocean warming and acidification when they don't have to handle the extra blankets of toxicity. So we developed a set of criteria that helps people understand the details of what it actually means to use responsible sun care protection, which the first thing is like wear a hat, wear clothes, and then if you are going to use sunscreen, please make sure that it is mineral sunscreen. We came up with the term reef-friendly so that it's actually friendly for the reefs. And sadly, unfortunately, that term has actually been co-opted and used by big companies who are reformulating with even worse chemicals. So be careful about reef-friendly. It's still important, but just double check that it's actually zinc oxide on the back. So with the criteria and the pledge and educating people, we've had some amazing successes. We had legislation pass in Hawaii and Palau. Give it up for these places. Hawaii, Palau, Key West, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and most recently New Caledonia are all places that have chosen to ban some of these active chemical sunscreens. So it seems like an unlikely player, but let's hear it, you guys. Take the pledge for sunscreens, mineral sunscreens, using only reef-friendly sunscreens. You can learn more from for all of this at allgoodproducts.com or safesunscreencouncil.org. We also started a coalition of like-minded brands who are putting the line in the sand. So thank you, Central Coast Parks. Thank you all you guys for coming to be a part of this. I love that it's where activism gets inspired. And take an easy step and be careful about what sunscreen you use. Thank you.